What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the North Shore 9 postgame show powered by Primanti Brothers. I'm Jim. With me again is Dougie Fresh. Doug, home opener. You've got vibes of opening day. Everybody's seemingly in a good mood for the most part heading into the game. You've got a big crowd. You've got big energy. You've got a sellout. You've got fans booing Derek Shelton during warmups. You got Mitch Keller getting the start on his birthday. But it quickly turned sour today. 9-4 loss to the Yankees in the home opener. Not necessarily the birthday present Mitch Keller wanted, I'm sure. But yeah, we're here to talk about it. And Doug, it's another gut wrench. Not this one wasn't really gut wrenching. It was just, we just got beat up.
We got beat by a much better team.
I think it was pretty clear.
This wasn't like losing to the Marlins where we had a lead in the eighth. We did the blunders, the errors, the guys caught, getting caught stolen, that sort of thing. It didn't matter, right? This team was outclassed, and the outcome was decided what seemed pretty, right?
Well, I think it was pretty clear. It was pretty clear just looking at the lineups. Like this Yankees team, they're just better, right?
Yeah.
And they showed today that they were the better team. I mean, you just look up and down this lineup. Ben Rice has an OPS over 1,200. Aaron Judge OPS over 1,500. Jazz Chisholm OPS in the 900s. Paul Goldschmidt OPS in the 800s. Austin Wells OPS in the 800s. Anthony Volpe OPS in the 1000s. Trent Grisham OPS in the 1200s. Jason Dominguez OPS in the 800s. Osvaldo Cabrera OPS in the 800s. So like this entire Yankees lineup, top to bottom, would any one of them would fit in very nicely into the middle of this Pirates order.
Yeah, exactly. Their ninth guy would become our number 4 hitter, right? I mean, or a lead or something, would be right up there in the mix as one of our best hitters. It's a really good lineup, and Max Fried is a really good pitcher, and we would have to play our best game, or the best version of what the Pittsburgh Pirates can be, to compete, not even necessarily to win, just to compete. And that's not what we did today. And the results were pretty predictable.
Yeah. It was a rough day in general. Like, you want to feel positive heading into the opener at PNC Park. And very quickly, this team got behind. The fans got upset. Multiple sell the team chants throughout the game. You had guys wearing bags on their head by like the second inning of this game. You have Bob Nutting. For some reason, he thought it was a good idea to like walk up the rotunda today for some reason, and there's fans just yelling.
With only one security guard
the whole time. Yeah, it's pretty frustrating game. And I think fans have reached it's crazy. Like we're sitting here on April 4th. The Pirates are 2-6, and I don't remember fan frustration ever being at this point, at least in my lifetime. Yeah. And I'm not as old as you, Doug, right? But
listen, I've watched a lot of that statement.
Yeah, right. I've watched a lot of really bad Pirates baseball teams in my life. I was there from 93 to 2012. I've been there this whole time,
Yeah.
and I can't remember the fan base being this angry ever.
No, I'm telling you, I was there for the cocaine trials in the the mid '80s. I don't remember the fan base being this disenchanted. I mean, we're definitely irate at the time, but again, and it wasn't with the team so much as it was the circumstance, right? Yeah, and like I said, I mean, my goodness, those 93 to that 2010 season. I was living in Texas and we played the Astros and Rangers 13 times and went 0 for 13. And I don't remember, and that was a terrible year. That year was just a slog to get through. But people didn't seem as, frustrated, as angry as they are now. This is, like I said, it's April 4th. Obviously it's not a great start, but
And 8 games. 8
yeah.
games.
Right. We're very different than the Braves. The Braves go 0 for 7 and we're like, "Ah, they're going to have 12 5-game win streaks this year. It'll be fine." But that's,
Yeah.
we just feel like that this is sort of the beginning of the avalanche. And, it's like, can't
Pat
we
Pat
gotta
I
enjoy it?
wonder if Patrick's got if Patrick's got a point here, like, because I feel like during this whole stretch of the Pirates being bad, you at least had the Penguins and or the Steelers to kind of keep you a little positive. I wonder if the fact that those 2 teams have also not been that great is just spilling into the Pirates season, and so now you've got, like, a full you got years now of frustration between a bunch of different sports all compiling into the sport where it's nice weather, you're outside, you can get a bunch of fans together, you get you get a few beers in you, and then all of a sudden you just overwhelming frustrations all being let out at one time. I wonder if
Yeah,
that does have something to do with it,
I
honestly.
I think it might, right? Because I mean, we were definitely frustrated with the other two
Mhm.
teams, and I mean, the Steelers, who used to be sort of the gold standard, or that's not the case anymore, right? It's been 8 years without a playoff win, and we're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
we go out and make the great trade for the receiver, and like, but we're not going to have a quarterback. So, and the Penguins are just, terrible, and stuck in that. We've got these guys, we love them, we got to keep them. We don't, you know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
they're, yeah. So yeah, the we're not getting any joy anywhere. We don't have any real hope. Nobody thinks any of these teams is primed to win a championship. And yeah, and then this, after what, 3 seasons in a row of kind of hot starts, or at least 2 in a row of hot starts, to have a bad start, and in particular, a bad start against a bad team. um, we know we're going to struggle with Yankees and Dodgers. We have to beat Marlins, right?
Yeah.
And we don't do that in the way we gave those away, and it's snowballing. A lot of frustration, and it's understandable, right? Like you said, you get there, you get a few beers in you, somebody starts saying sell the team, and you're like, yeah, all right, I'm with
Let's
it, I'm
just
with it,
roll it. Yeah, let's roll with
right,
it.
right, yeah,
Yeah. Now with that being said, I think the Pirates deserve some of this all on their own without the help of the Penguins and the Steelers. But
right.
yeah, let's
The
get to the
Pirates are their
game.
own worst
Yeah,
enemy,
the
right? Yeah,
Pirates. Yeah,
you could try to blame it on the other teams,
it
but no, no,
is.
no, no.
They are at fault here. I agree.
Yeah, the
Um,
author of their misery. Yeah, it is them, right?
so let's just do a quick rundown here. Mitch Keller gets to start. Doesn't look sharp really right off the bat. Not very efficient, not throwing a lot of strikes, walking batters, hit by pitches, just not around the zone, not commanding his pitches very well. The Yankees do get to him in the second inning. They score 2 runs on a Cabrera single. Um, they also add another run in the third on a Dominguez single, and then Cabrera singles again, another run in. So they go up 4-0. Bryan Reynolds does cut the lead to 4-1 with a homer. But then the Yankees kind of just keep adding on in the fourth. That's kind of when things came off the rails a bit. Anthony Volpe, RBI single, and then 2 more runs come across via a bases loaded hit by pitch, a bases loaded walk, and then Aaron Judge caps things off, who had been having a relatively quiet game. He hits a 2-run homer in the seventh. By that point, it's 9-1. Brian Hayes does add a 3-run homer in the 7th to make it 9-4, but this game was over relatively quickly, relatively early. I'd say the 4th inning. You know, when once it got to 7-1, you didn't really have much faith in this team coming back out of that. But let's talk about Keller's start. Your boy Mitch Keller, who you've been critical of in the past, but I don't know if people know this, Doug. Mitch Keller's your pick to click this year.
He is. I really do think he's going to have a good year. I think the assistant pitching coach Brett Strom is going to get through to him, and that he's going to be more consistent than he was in the past. But I will say this: Mitch Keller, in every start that he's ever made, that's carried some sort of external weight to it. You know, he's pitched the opening day, I think, twice in a row. He's pitched a home opener. He's been bad in every one of those starts. He pitched in the All-Star game. He gave up a home run. His first start at home after the All-Star game, he pitched poorly. His first start after the trade deadline, he pitched poorly. And anytime where it's not just a start, where there's some sort of like, hey, this will be a statement game, this will be something, he's not done well. And his biggest problem, I think, is that it's these moments that he can't. How often does he get ahead of somebody 1-2, 0-2, and then go to 3-2? How often does he get 2 outs but can't put away the third out? It's just, there's just some little thing there with him that's missing, and I'm not saying it's a permanent issue. We say about all sorts of guys, he's injury prone, and then he's not injury prone after, he has 5 good years of health. Or we say he can never win the big game, and then he does win the big, so it's, yep. I don't think this is a permanent issue, but this is where you love having a Paul Skeens on the team, where like maybe he's going to rub off on the other guys. And what I loved about Skeens' start the other day, I was there for that game, was that he knew he needed to give us innings. So he wasn't going for strikeouts. He was going for quick, kind of 3-pitch out type things. And I hope some of that. I hope Keller, gets on that. Keller threw a couple cutters today. He still gets a little too cute for his own good. He wanted to use all his pitch, want to just throw some strikes, get some people out. I mean, I know you don't want to get risky with an Aaron Judge, but there are some guys in the lineup that you can go after a little more aggressively.
Yeah, and Judge was one of the guys he had success against today.
He pitched well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was just off today. The command was off. He wasn't hitting his spots. I thought the fastball looked pretty good. And if you kind of just dissect the numbers here, like the Yankees didn't really hit Keller's fastball all too much. He threw 40 of them. It was put in play 3 times on 20 swings. And the average exit velocity was 80.2. So like the fastball was working for him today, but the other stuff really wasn't. The slider, he couldn't hit it in the zone. He only threw a slider in the zone 29% of the time. He only generated 4 swings on it and 14 attempts throwing it. No swings and misses on the sweeper. The cutter, like you mentioned, he only threw 5 of them. So I'm not going to really say that like it's back, but he did throw the first cutter he threw this year was deposited in the center field to lead off the game by Ben Rice for a single. So that was interesting, but that was the only cutter they hit the entire game. And like he didn't throw too many of them, but yeah, he was just off.
4 walks though, right? 4 walks.
4 walks and also 2 hit by pitches. Right. And so when I read off that Yankees lineup at the start of this show, you can't give that lineup 6 free bags based off of walks and hit by pitches. You can't do it. And then on top of that, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa boots that ball in the 3rd. Right. That they should have been out of that inning in the 3rd with no runs. So when you're giving up 6 free bases, plus you're giving up an additional out in an inning, that's just this Yankees team is too good. They're going to make you pay every single time you do that.
Absolutely.
So that was,
I mean, it wasn't very dope, right? The Department of Pitching Efficiency was not in operation there today. And that's exactly it. This team is not good enough to give away, to put 6 guys, and on base. We had 2 errors. I think the IKF one was not counted as an error. I don't really understand that. It looked like, but so
Mhm.
yeah, I mean that's a lot. That's a
Which
lot of
I
guys
don't know
advancing on
why.
the bypass.
I don't know how that IKF error
Yeah,
wasn't an error. I mean,
yeah,
that was
I
a
don't
that
understand
was a
that either. I mean,
that was about as
he went
routine
over
a
and
ground
dribbled
ball
the
as I
ball. I mean, it
yeah, I
was
mean,
terrible.
I think official scores have gone soft, Doug. They've gone
Yes, they
soft
have.
on us. But no, that extends that inning because if he gets out of that inning and it's 2-0, and all of a sudden you head to the bottom half of the third and Reynolds cuts it to 2-1 with a homer, then you're dealing with a different ball game here. But
All right.
yeah, that third inning where they expanded that lead to 4-0, that definitely, that hurt quite a bit. And by the time that third inning was over, I think Keller was sitting at 80 pitches. Like he was up there. And
Right.
at that point, you knew you weren't going to get much out of him. He only goes 3 2/3 today. We mentioned the 4 walks to 2 hit by pitches, 8 hits off of Keller. Um, all mostly singles. I mean, he only
Right.
gave up 1 extra base hit, and that was a Dominguez double. But yeah, he was off today. Just
I,
he was
I'm
off.
I'm glad they
Yeah,
pulled him, right? In the
yeah.
23 in particular, they would have left him out there for a 5th inning. Even last year, early probably would have. So at least they got him out of there and got to the bullpen. Wentz, did not help by bases loaded, hit by pitch, bases loaded walk. But
Mhm.
it was nice to see that that they're not going to run Keller into the ground. So like I said, I still think he's going to have a better season than he's had in the past.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, let's shift gears a bit. Like I said, not a good start from Keller.
mm,
He's got to be better, obviously. But shifting to the offense a little bit, I think you finally saw like there was a little bit of life today, and they faced a really good pitcher with Max Fried. And I mean, Fried cooked, like he only gave up 1 run, and that was a home run
mm,
to Bryan Reynolds. But they were able to get to the Yankees a little bit there in the 6th inning, off of the 7th inning. I'm sorry, Fernando Cruz. But Bryan Reynolds finally doing like he's had a rough start to the year, so it's nice to see him yank a homer from the right side of the plate. You wonder he had been hitting a lot from the left side of the plate lately, and with that tricep injury in his right arm, that's kind of your lead arm. So I wonder if now, like, I wonder if he was just more comfortable hitting from the right side of the plate. I don't know, but he put a good swing on that ball, hit it over the fence. Brian Hayes only had 1 hit to show for it today, but he also was hitting the ball hard all game long. He had his 3rd barrel of the year in the 1st inning. I think he only had 7 barrels all of last season. 3rd barrel of the year. He's 0 for 3 on those 3 barrels. So uh, very unlucky for Brian Hayes, but he also was able to yank one just inside the left field foul pole in the 7th inning, a 3-run homer, his first homer of the year. So it is nice to see Hayes looking a little bit more comfortable at the plate. It was nice to see Reynolds homer. Andrew McCutchen getting the start in right field today, his first start in the field since 2023, and he had 3 hits, Doug. 3 hits. We got to find a way to keep
and
this guy in the lineup.
all right, and it was our best defensive outfielder. Right,
He
that was a
did.
nice
Yeah,
catch.
that
Right,
play he
uh,
made in right
uh,
field to end. I forget what
uh,
inning that was, but I mean, it was either the 3rd or the 4th when like things were
uh,
going bad, and
things were ugly. Right,
yeah, like he made a
2
really
more
nice
would have
play to
scored. Right, 2 more at
2 would
least
have
would have
scored.
scored. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, no,
So it was,
it's. I mean,
yep.
it was great to see again, and though those 3 guys, right? I mean, let's face it, they're Reynolds in particular, but these are 3 of our best players. Now that might kind of sum up that what a sad state of affairs things are right now. But I'm not counting on Canario. I'm not counting on IKF and Adam Frazier, and I'm not counting on Triolo, and I am counting, on Bryan Reynolds for sure. The guys that have showed the most in the past have been Hayes and McCutchen, and obviously Cruz is still, probably obviously the guy with the most upside and who we expect the most from this year. But we need these guys to hit. I mean it's the only way. We need the
Mhm.
starters to pitch like they have been saved today, and then we need these guys to hit, and we can't wait. We need a lot. We need a lot of hitting from them. We need a lot of production from them. So yeah, so there was some encouragement. And Endy, had another hit. Endy's, I don't want to get too excited yet, but
Got a double. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but Hayes has been hitting the ball pretty well this year. Not, he's always been unlucky, and that's, I think, again, he doesn't have much of a launch angle, but he does hit the ball hard. So if I'm going to keep crossing my fingers and hoping that he'll continue to hit it hard, and he'll, start to get more positive results.
Yeah. Going into today's game, just to kind of the stat that jumps out at me with Brian Hayes, his squared up percentage. So the percentage of times he squares the ball up. He's in the 94th percentile in all of Major League Baseball. So at the end of the day, guys, like if you hit the ball hard and you do it over a long period of time, good things are going to happen. So Brian Hayes is hitting the ball hard right now. He's squaring the ball up. He's putting the barrel to the ball. If he keeps doing that, I think good things are eventually going to happen. So he just needs to keep it going.
And probably the most important thing about that, the results, we don't know what's going to happen. Exit velocity, it's nice, but if it's not, however, he looks healthy, right? He's hitting the ball hard because he's healthy.
Mhm.
And that's the best thing, that's the best news out of this. I think that, moving forward, like you said, he'll continue to hit the ball hard. He'll start to get better results, and he's going to be able to stay on the field, and he's going to be able to be productive. And that is great news for all of us fans and the Pirates as a whole. So,
yeah. O'Neal Cruz didn't do much at the plate today, but stolen base number 7. 7 steals in 8 games. He is 7-for-7 stealing. Actually, he's only started 7 of those games. He has stolen a base successfully in every game he started.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic.
How many is he going to end up with?
Right.
How many
I mean, is he going to steal 70? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he's already 10% of the way there.
Yeah. Right. And it seems like every time he gets to first base, he's stealing. So,
Every time.
Again, the Pirates are so weird. And, tomorrow they could just say, all right, we're not running anymore because, someone got picked off today, and it's like, what happened? We were, so, or, they might want to start preserving his, who knows what they can do. But I love the fact that he's running. He is very fast. Just his height, he can slide in there faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shorter distance for him, or actually, it's the same exact distance, but he gets there faster.
It's the same distance. He makes it shorter, I guess.
Right. He covers it a little. Right.
Alexander Canario. Our first look at him today. Tommy Pham got the start, batting 6th in left field today. Looked like he was having some issues with his contacts, maybe, or his eyes. I know he has some. He does have some sort of like eye issue that he's been dealing with over the course of
Brown
his entire
speculated
career.
that, and then later he said left the game because of illness. Now I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know what was going on there. But Tommy Pham left the game. Canario comes on in. Our first look at Canario, and first inning out there, he gets the ball hit to him, and he makes an error. So
he did not make a good first impression.
Of course, that's just how things are going to go. Your new guy gets put in, and he makes an error. First ball to him. And then he also strikes out his first 2 at bats. His third at bat, he did put a really good swing on it. Took Judge to the fence.
And also that foul ball that he ran up on. Yeah. I just would have liked to see him slide. Go down up to one knee.
I thought that was gonna bounce fair, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be." It was gonna be like the worst intro because at that point the fans were already starting to to lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but our first look at Canario, no word yet on like how bad the illness is for Pham or what's going on there. Maybe it was allergies or something. I don't know, but it looked like he was messing with his contacts and the dugout.
They did show him doing something. Right.
But yeah, something to keep an eye on. Bullpen. I thought Joey Wentz outside the first 2 batters he faced did a really good job. He came in a tough situation, let 2 runners score with a walk and a hit by pitch, but then really settled in. 2 1/3, scoreless, 3 strikeouts. I mean, this is a really tough Yankees lineup, and he was able to eat up some innings, save that bullpen for later in the series because you're going to need all of these guys during the 3-game series. So I thought Wentz did a good job. Tim Meza came in. He gave up the 2-run homer to Judge, but he was able to eat 2 innings. I do want to talk about Justin Lawrence, though. He looks nasty, Doug.
Yes, he
He looks
does.
nasty. Like
Yeah,
that sweeper of his.
that sweep I mean, it starts way over here comes I mean, it seems almost unfair. Um, we did the show Tuesday, and one of the things I said was that the bullpen is the easiest thing to fix, and it looks like we have the makings of a decent bullpen.
Mhm.
If they'll stop going to, they have to stop going to Bednar now, obviously, but if they stop putting, Holderman in the high leverage situations, and just Baraki, Santana, Lawrence, Wentz, Ferguson has looked good, right? Like we might be able to cobble together. It won't be the sexy names. It won't necessarily be the most dominant stuff. But yeah, I mean, if Lawrence comes out and pitches the ninth tomorrow, I'm not going to be mad, right? I mean that thing, and I love, I've been on the Santana train for quite a while. I think we all have here at NS9, but
Mhm.
if they're going, I mean, I've always thought, unless you got Mariano Rivera or somebody like that, it should be by matchups, right?
Yep.
If you've got a dominant left-handed guy and a dominant right-handed guy, why does one have to work the eighth and the other have to work? Just whatever makes most sense is based on lineup. So that's putting a lot of faith in old Shelty there, but
Yeah.
sorry, Paul. But yeah, I would, I hope they just, continue to go based on matchups. And I think this bullpen can be fine. I
Mhm.
think the starting rotation, by and large, will give us some innings, so they, hopefully just won't be worked to death. And we'll be okay. And hopefully, again, I know everybody's mad at Bednar, but I'm in the camp with you. Like, let's hope he gets straightened out down there. Let's hope he gets. I mean, I don't care if he pitches 10 scoreless innings and they bring him up. Don't put him in the ninth. Make him work his way back in, but
Yep.
get him right. I mean, he's a 2-time All-Star closer. He was a dominant force. He's probably the best player on the team there for a couple of seasons. If we can get him back, and that'd be great. Get him back in peak form. And same thing goes for Holderman. Holderman started a little sketchy last year because he was, he got sick and lost the weight, but then he had a really nice stretch. So I certainly don't want to give up on these guys. I just don't want to put them in the eighth and ninth innings. That's all.
Yeah. Shout out to Sean here. Sean says, God works in mysterious ways, like Doug being on a Keller post game. Here's the deal. I make the post game schedules every week. I try to make sure that Doug lines up for the Keller starts. That's like it's one of my goals every week is to make sure I get Doug on for Keller
and
starts.
and I am grateful. It's sort of the show just writes itself when
Yep. Hey,
when I get to do
you
it.
make the Keller starts.
Uh,
You know how to do those games. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a stinker, right? Home opener, you expect like you want this game to go well, and it didn't. It went just as bad as it could have gone. I mean, like I said, there were a few good things that some certain Pirates players did, but for the most part, overall, just a bad performance. And they were just outclassed, plain and simple,
yeah,
by a team that was clearly better than they were.
you're right. They come home and you're like, boy, if they took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, would we all feel a lot better? You know
I
what I'm
would.
saying? Just like, all
Yeah.
right, yeah, I certainly would put all the other stuff behind you. It was a bad start. Whatever happened, it's fine. Win a couple series, and then suddenly we're like, all right, we're not buried yet. It's not the end of it feels like it. It feels like this season is going nowhere. But if they start playing a little better here, if they start, if the starting pitching continues to do well, sorted out the bullpen a little. Now, if we play a little smarter, um, again, we're not playing in the NL West. We're in the NL Central.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to need 105 wins to win the NL Central this year. So, Get it together. I mean, they look terrible. I'm discouraged. I'm depressed about it, but I'm not quite ready to throw in the towel yet. Talk to me tomorrow. So,
Yep. Speaking of tomorrow, 4:05 first pitch, game 2 against the Yankees. Marcus Stroman on the mound. Maybe we can channel our inner John Nagowski, get to him this weekend. Bailey Falter starting for the Pirates. I forget who's on the postgame, who's doing postgame duties tomorrow. I know I am off for the weekend, so I'm excited about that. So I will just be watching the game in peace.
I'm going to Daytona, and I'm going to watch Connor Griffin and Vandermouth on Sunday.
There you go. So, Connor Griffin, apparently he started off his pro career 2 for 2 today. Is what I've heard. So
fast track him.
let's get him up here. We need him. We need him up here now.
Yeah. He'd probably be our best defensive outfielder right now.
Yep. So. All right. Well, again, Pirates lose the home opener 9-4. We're back at it tomorrow. Stroman, Falter, 4:05. We'll have another post-game show for you. Hopefully it's a win. I know we've only given away 4 sandwiches this year. I want to give away sandwiches, but who knows? We might have to start thinking about something to give away during losses too. But let's just start winning.
Go out and buy your Primantis tomorrow. Let's get some good vibes going. Everybody go out and buy a sandwich tomorrow, and then we can get the win and then give away 4 tomorrow.
That's what we do. Everybody support our sponsor tomorrow, and it's going to propel the team to victory. There you go. Oh yeah, we gave away 8 sandwiches this year.
Because 2 wins, right?
Yeah. All right.
It was a long time ago, that first one. We've forgotten about it. Right?
Yeah. Well, Doug, let's get out of here. Appreciate everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Again, Pirates lose. They're now 2-6 on the season. If you're listening on the podcast or watching afterwards, we appreciate you. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Leave a review, rate the show, all of the things, right? But that's all I've got for you today, guys.
Not much more to say. Hopefully tomorrow Bailey Falter can do his thing and the bats can get going a little. We've got to Stroman a couple times before. He's not, he's hittable. So hopefully we can get a nice little streak going.
Stroman has unblocked me on Twitter. So maybe let's get to him. If we can get to him tomorrow, I can start chirping a little bit, and maybe I can get blocked again.
I was going to say, the goal. If we do well enough against him tomorrow, you could be blocked by. Yeah,
we need Stroman to mass block the entire Pirates fan base again. That's what we need. All right. With that being said, I'm out of here. See you guys. We'll be back tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.